Hi, I'm Anne-Marie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to this week's Confident English lesson where we're focused on common fears when speaking English and how you can overcome them. Every day I hear from my students in emails and in my small group classes, and I often hear about 3 common fears again and again. And you might have some of these same fears about speaking English. Those 3 common fears are often related to the fear of starting conversations in English, the fear of not knowing what to say or what is appropriate or correct to say. The second fear is related to making mistakes in English, the fear of feeling silly in a conversation. And finally, the third fear that I often hear about is the fear that no one will understand you or that you won't be able to express yourself correctly the way that you want. If those are some of the fears that you have in English, I want you to know first that you're not alone having those fears. And number 2, we can totally change that. In fact, it's what I love most in my work. I love helping my students overcome their fears in English, to overcome feeling shy and nervous so that they can do what they want and what they need. And the reason it's so important is because if you are always afraid to speak, if you never learn how to overcome those fears, then you might lose opportunities. You might lose professional opportunities to grow your career or to get a better job. You might lose the opportunity to get a new client to work with your company. Maybe it means losing opportunities in an English-speaking country where you live. It means being stressed every day just to go to the grocery store or the bank. And maybe it means it's really difficult to get to know people and make friends. And we don't want any of that. We want it to be easy for you to communicate in English, to feel comfortable, and to know that you can say what you want. So today I want to share with you a couple of practical ways that you can do that. There are just 2 words that I want to focus on in today's lesson. And these 2 words are everything you need to overcome your fears and to help you advance and be more confident in your English. Those 2 words are preparation and practice. It sounds super simple, but you and I both know it's not so simple. The truth is, preparation and practice take time. They require a little bit of work. They might also require some opportunity and even a little bit of courage. Preparation means the process of getting ready. It means that you have to collect information, you have to think and evaluate and make sure that you have everything you need to be ready for something. If preparation is the process of getting ready, practice is the process of doing something regularly. Doing something as a habit. And those 2 pieces together are what allow you to overcome those fears, to become more confident and sure about what you want to say in your English. I want to share with you an example of why preparation and practice must go together to help you overcome fears and nervousness and to help you become proficient and confident in what you can do in English. This is an example I often share with my students in fluency school. Imagine that you play the piano and you're going to learn a new song, maybe a new song by Chopin or Mozart. And of course, before you learn to play a new song, you need to get familiar with it. You need to make sure you know how to read music. You need to know where the notes on the piano are, what the different keys do. You need to make sure your piano is in tune and it's ready. All of that is part of that process of getting ready. And then, if you just know how to read the music, but you never practice, and you have a concert tomorrow, it might be really difficult to go to that concert and play perfectly if you've never played the song before. Of course, you've read it. You've read the song, you understand reading the music, but you've never played it on the piano. So it's probably going to be really scary to go to a concert and play that song without knowing exactly how to do it, without the practice. So of course, most of us don't do that. Most of us do the preparation and then we practice. The first time you play that song, you might be really slow, and sometimes you look at the piano, sometimes you look at the music, sometimes you play the wrong note and you have to start over. Sometimes there might be a really difficult part of the song and you have to do it again and again and again. But after the first week, it's getting much easier. You don't have to read the music so much. Your hands go where they need to go more easily. It feels more natural. You just know what the music is. And of course, with time, eventually you can just play the song. It's easy. You don't think about it. You don't read the music. It's in you. You've got it. That is the process of preparation and practice working together. And now let's go back to language. That is absolutely the same process that we need in becoming confident in English and learning how to say what you want and to not feel afraid in that moment. First, strategies for preparation. And again, remember, this is the process of getting everything you need so that you're ready to practice. So when you have to start a conversation and you're nervous about making mistakes, you want to make sure that you're understood, you want to think about what are the things you need for that conversation. Are there specific questions that you need to ask? Is there information that you need to be prepared to share? If there are, then you want to know what those are in advance. It means you need to spend some time thinking about them, maybe doing a little bit of research or even writing some things down. If it's a business meeting and you know that you'll have to share some information, write down what it is that you'll need to share. If you really want to get to know your neighbor and you'd love to ask some questions, think about what those questions are in advance. Now, before we talk about practice, I want to give some practical tips about starting a conversation, asking questions, because that's often one of the biggest challenges or areas of fear that my students have. Number one, I have a lesson on my 10 favorite questions to start a conversation with anyone. In that lesson, I share with you what those questions are, why they are great questions, and how you can use them. Who can you use them with? And the second lesson that I have is all about small talk and how to be better at small talk. What kinds of questions can you ask? And how can you be ready for any of those situations where you might need to get to know someone and start that conversation? Now let's go to the second part of that equation, that preparation and practice. You've prepared for a conversation, you've prepared questions to ask, but now you have to do the work of practice. If your goal is to overcome feeling afraid of speaking, of making mistakes, or of being understood, practice is what will help you do that. Practice is that process of doing something as a habit, doing it regularly or repeating it so that you are proficient at it. Let's imagine that you have a business meeting coming up next week and the meeting will be in English. You know that you will have to present some information and maybe even offer your opinion on a solution to a problem. So of course, before that meeting, you will prepare, think about what it is you need to say, what information do you need to share. But then you need to also practice it if you want to feel more confident, if you want to not feel afraid to say what you want and to know that you're going to be understood and that you can do it clearly. One easy way that you can do that, and a way that I love doing even with my students, is recording yourself. Use your computer or your smartphone and record yourself by audio or video. This gives you the practice of speaking out loud. And then, when you're finished, listen to it. How is it? Are you happy with what you said? Are you happy with how you sounded? Are you okay with the vocabulary that you used or the grammar choices that you made? This is a little bit like that first time of playing the piano, and maybe as you listen to it, you think, ooh, I don't like that, or I made a mistake, I want to fix it. Just like when you practice playing the piano, when you record yourself, the great thing is you can delete it, you can start over and do it again. And through that practice, you start to perfect what you want to say. You make changes and improvements. It gets easier to remember the words that you want to use. And maybe you change your sentences a little bit, but through that process, you build confidence in what you're saying. It becomes less scary and you feel more sure about what words you want to use and what grammar you need, so that when you go to that business meeting, you've done the preparation, you've done the practice, and you're ready. You're ready for that business meeting. You're ready to say what you need or what you want. The awesome thing about recording yourself is you can do it no matter where you live. Even if you have no one around you to practice English with, this is something you can do anytime. You can do it for 5 minutes a day. And again, that process of doing something as a habit is what will help you build that confidence so that you can do it more easily. The second strategy you can use to help you get that practice that you need is to invest in yourself. If speaking English with confidence is something that is important to you, if it is essential for you to get better opportunities or to feel more comfortable where you live, then invest in it. There are so many wonderful language schools around the world and online. You can hire a tutor, go to a class near where you live, or you could even join me for my Fluency School course, which is focused on speaking practice. The reason this second strategy is great is it gives you someone else to work with, whether it's a teacher or a small group. You have others who can help you through the process and support you, encourage you as you practice to perfect your English and be more confident. If you've ever wondered how someone else has become successful in English or how they became so confident, this is exactly how. It is always the process of preparation and practice combined together. This is what leads to overcoming your fears. It is what leads to confidence and the ability to make progress or advance your abilities. Now that you know exactly what it takes or what is necessary to help you overcome fears in English, I have a question for you. Are you ready and are you willing to give English the time and the work, the commitment that it needs so that you can become more confident and to feel that you can speak freely in English? Remember, preparation and practice do take time. But if you know that your time and your work will be worth it, that they will help you accomplish what you need, would you be ready to do it? This is an important question because it's so easy to be discouraged if you've spent a lot of time studying English, if you've taken classes and bought grammar books and watched videos on YouTube like this. It can be really easy to feel discouraged if you don't see progress. So it's important to ask that question. Are you ready and are you willing to give English a little bit of time and energy, work, commitment every day to see those changes? This is where I would love to hear from you, and this is my challenge question for the week. If you feel that you are ready, or maybe you've already started the process of doing a little bit of work in English every day and trying to make progress, what steps are you taking? That's what I want to know. As always, you can share your comments with me in the comment section just below this video. I want to hear from you what steps you are taking to do that process of preparation and practice in your English. When you share your comments, I do always read them. I often provide feedback, and you can read what others in the community say. You might get some new ideas, or maybe you have a strategy that will be just what someone else needs. With that, thank you so much for joining me this week. I love having you here every Wednesday, and I'll see you next week for your Confident English lesson.